Yesterday we were discussing about the conceptual problem regarding to the chapter transfer of heat. I think there is no problem. So today let's start to discuss the conceptual questions on fluid mechanics. So here in case of fluid mechanics, first of all let's discuss the fluid whenever they are in motion. After that we will discuss fluid at rest and other things. So like if fluids are in motion, then you know that they are showing viscosity property due to the relative motion between the different layers of the fluids there. So first question is based on this problem. One by one questions we will discuss here. Question is that from where the concept of viscous force that is generating. So means what is the origin of viscous forces and on which factors these types of forces are dependent on. So first of all, as whenever liquid is in motion, then that time liquid flows in forms of layers. So if liquid is flowing different forms of layers, suppose there are number of layers we have, and in all these layers it has been seen that we are already by experimental observations we have seen that the liquid flows in different layers with different speeds. So if this is suppose liquid is flowing in any tube, and the velocity of the layer that is in touch with the tube, and that is quite slow in comparison to the layers that are moving away from the surface of the tube. So it means that continually velocity is changing here by layer to layer. So if there is change in velocities between different layers, you can say that they are carrying different momentum, since their momenta are changing continuously. And here the conservation of momentum that is followed everywhere, and obviously if there are relative motion between two layers, then one layer will try to increase the velocity of other layer which is moving slower, and the layer that is moving slower, that will have tendency to increase the decrease the velocity of the faster moving layers here. So in this way a relative motion is established between two layers, and they are starting to drag every other's velocity, every other's momentum, and in that way obviously the dragging force in this condition that is acting, and that opposes the relative velocity of the layers here. Means that dragging force has tendency to bring an equilibrium in the system, so that all of the layers can move with the same velocity here. So the origin of viscous forces is origin from the concept of relative motion between different layers here. As different layers are moving with different velocities, due to their different velocities they will have different momentum, and due to change in momentum obviously the system will try to bring an equilibrium in the system, so that they will try to impart some of the momentum, or they will try to drag some of the momentum of some of the layers. So the relationship will be established between them, and due to that here relative velocity that will be established here. And in this way due to this relative motion, due to the concept of equilibrium here, a dragging force that will established in the system, and that will try to bring equilibrium in the system. So viscous forces, I think the origin of viscous forces, that is clear. Now in second way you can understand here that if different layers that are in motion, then obviously the particle will try to remain in the original configuration, original position. So it will try to retard the motion of the particle. Means there will be you know that like we have studied in case of Newton's law of mechanics, that whenever particle that is moving with uniform velocity, or that is at rest, that has the property of inertia, and due to inertia property it try to oppose the any kinds of change in its state of rest or state of motion. And whenever we are trying to just move it, then we have to apply some of the external force on it in against to this inertial force there. So here inertial force that is acting in the system just to retard the any other external impact on this. So in the same way, in fluid we have also these properties, inertial properties and elastic properties. Both of the properties it have, and due to that it has tendency to remain in its original configuration and original it has tendency to store its original energy. So whenever fluid comes into the motion, so that time these properties opposing any types of relative motion or any types of motion in fluid, so that in opposition they apply a dragging force in the reverse direction to the direction of motion of fluid. So that reverse or that dragging force, that is, suppose in this direction liquid is in motion, then this dragging force is applied just in opposite direction to bring it in its equilibrium condition or original condition. So this force is known as dragging force or viscous force. So in two way you can understand viscous forces. If there are relative motion between layers, then you can understand in that way, or also suppose there are no relative motion but still fluid is in motion, then that types, due to that types of motion, its configurations and its other properties and elastic property, that is changing. So that's why to bring it in its original condition, it will try to retard its the motion or the motion of fluid, so that a dragging force or viscous force will be applied here. So next thing is that on which factors this viscous force is dependent on. So as we are seeing that the first factor on which it is depending on the relative velocity of the system is what is the rate of change of velocity with space in the system. So the first factor on which this force, suppose F is the viscous dragging force, that is, this is dependent on the factor dV upon ds. Means with the with distance, what is the rate of, means how the velocity is changing. Greater will be the velocity with distance, greater will be the application of force to resist its motion. So the first, this is known as velocity gradient. So it is just directly proportional to this quantity. Second thing, the velocity is directly viscous force is directly proportional to the area here. So greater will be the area, greater will be the velocity, greater will be here, greater will be the area, greater will be the force that will be applied to resist its motion. So you can say that you have seen, if we are taking water in greater area, that time its velocity is quite slow. Reason is that there is the greater dragging force is applied to resist its motion. So if viscous force is quite greater for greater area, then definitely the fluid motion that will be retarded and there will be less velocity in that region. So whenever water or any liquid that is flowing in greater area that has reduced velocity, that has slow, that is moving or that is motion in it's slow steep, but here in case of a small area, whenever you are taking very small narrow pipe, then in that case you have seen that water is flowing with greater velocities there. So reason is that in if this area is smaller, then the viscous dragging force that will be also smaller. So if for resisting forces, dragging forces that is resisting the motion that is small, then definitely water will be flow or any liquid will flow with that narrow pipe with greater velocity or with increased velocity. So this is the reason behind that, and on this factor this viscous force is depending on. So whenever these factors are changing, the viscous force will change, and according to that the other properties of the liquid like viscosity, velocity, other factors will change there. So after discussing about the viscous force, that is I think clear now, and the factors that are affecting it, that is clear. The next concept is here in fluid mechanics, that is the concept of viscosity here. So viscosity is what? That is a property through which any liquid or any fluid that is resisting any kinds of change in its state of motion or state of rest. So in the same way, viscosity is playing that the same role as inertia is playing the role in while we are talking about the linear motion or translational motion in any body. So in the same way you can understand it easily here. So viscosity is the property through which any liquid is resisting any kinds of relative motion between the different liquids layer there. And the next factor is that on which factor this viscosity is depending on. So as viscosity is properties of medium here, material here, so if material is changing, then viscosity is changing. Secondary factor, if temperature is changing, then with change in temperature, viscosity is also changing. So if temperature will increase, then that time the bond that is forming between any two molecules that form or any force that is imparting on the system, that will reduce due to external energy that is supplied to the system. So if temperature is increasing, then that time viscosity of the system or liquids, about that we are talking, then viscosity of liquid that is decreasing. And also with change in so many actually factors are here on which viscosity is depending on. Like whenever there is the change in relative motion of the layers, then that time viscosity will change also. Greater will be the relative motion, greater will be the opposing force that will be developed in the system, greater will be the viscosity there in the system. That, so I think first these things are clear. So this is very important factor, how the on the temperature viscosity is changing. And its application is that suppose that we are seeing that the machineries get jammed in the case in winter seasons, and we need additional lubricants there to again to take work from them. The reason is that in winters temperature is low, and at low temperature the viscosity of the system that oils that we are using in machineries to operate it, that is increasing. Still I have just told you, if temperature is increasing, viscosity is decreasing here. So it means that if temperature is decreasing, viscosity will increase. So in winters as temperature is low, then that time the oil that we are using, that viscosity will increase. And if viscosity is increasing, it means that it will resist any kinds of motion or relative motion in the system. So if relative motion that will be decreased here, then obviously we cannot get proper work from any machineries due to that. So to take work from them, we are using lubricants, and that lubricant is efficient that time, that has quite low viscosity. So first of all, how you are choosing any lubricants for your work, that is also very important. So that is depending on the conditions, means what is temperature, for which purpose we are needing it. So here if temperature is low, and also we are taking suppose that lubricants with greater viscosity, then there is no need to take it again. Due to temperature already viscosity is increasing and we have taken high viscous liquid, then that types of lubricant is not suitable for machineries there. Due to that, machine will again jam and it will be obviously reduced in the work that. So again think that we have to take lubricant of low viscosity here. So viscosity affects the working capacity of machineries or whatever that you are using in your life, and we are using any types of oils or fuels or any liquids in that system, then that liquid sometimes you can feel that that machineries are working properly in some seasons, and some of the machineries are not working properly. Like in summer seasons, as temperature is greater, that time all machineries are working very properly. So obviously in summer season we don't need any types of very low viscosity liquid. That time you can use even high viscosity liquid, not very high, but it's even normal viscous liquid you can use that time. So because temperature is high, then obviously its viscosity will become low that time. So I think this factor on which viscosity is depending on, that is not clear. So next factor is that so the next question is that as you have seen that the pipes that are carrying dirty waters, its side becomes dirty also. So reason is that whenever any liquid or that is flowing through the pipe, then that time due to motion of the fluid, obviously they are moving in the layers, and you know already that the layers that is moving near the walls of the tube or pipes, that moves with slower velocity than the layers that are along the axis of the pipe. So it means that through the axis of the pipe, velocity of layer that is maximum, but near the walls the velocity of layers are minimum. So it means that you can see here the again variation of liquid velocity in the liquid that is taking place. It means that a relative motion will be established between these liquid layers, and if relative motion is present, I just told you that a viscous force that will comes into the play, and obviously due to relative motion, that viscous force will have tendency to reduce this kinds of relative motion between different layers of the liquid. And obviously due to that viscous force, as suppose this is the axis of the layer, then it has little velocity, and this is the wall of the pipe that has the liquid that is in touch with the wall of the pipe, that will have lower velocity. So obviously this will impart, and momentum is this will transfer momentum to this side to bring it in its equilibrium condition. It means that it will try to just make constant momentum everywhere, so it will impart some of the momentum to this part. So in this way, obviously you can see here that the dirt that are flowing with the water, that will move from this side to this side, means access to the walls. So in this way, as that dirts are moving towards the walls of the pipe, so the wall of the pipe becomes dirty also due to stuck, because these dirts are stuck in the pipe that time. So this is the reason behind that, while whenever dirty water that is flowing through the pipe, then that time walls of the pipes becomes dirty also due to the viscous force that is acting on that dirt from access to the walls of the system. So again, I think the concept of viscosity and in different systems, while we are talking about the viscosity and viscous forces or any kinds of relative motion between different layers is going on, then what can be the effects there? Number of effects you have, you can understand easily them. You can take any of the example of fluid that you are using in your daily life, like you are using basically water, oils and other things in your daily life. So for that case, number of examples you can take, and you can understand the fluid motion from there. So if this concept is clear, then next thing is that what is terminal velocity? So also very important concept here. What is terminal velocity? So before knowing about the terminal velocity, whenever let's see that suppose that any just this is any tank or this any water system we have, and in this water system suppose there is spherical ball that is moving to downward this time, that is falling, that's mean. So it means that whenever this spherical ball will start to move in downward direction, and this liquid is raised, suppose that this liquid, this system is at rest, and this spherical ball is moving downward due to its weight. Obviously its weight will working in the downward direction, and so the weight of the ball that is working in downward direction, and also you know that all the liquid at other places they are at rest, and if this ball is accelerating, this is moving in downward direction continually due to its weight and due to change in gravity it is accelerating, its velocity is increasing, then obviously the liquid that will be in contact with this spherical ball, that will also come into the motion. And whenever if the contact liquid that will be in motion, then obviously it will carry some of the momentum with it, or you can see that they will move with some velocity, but still the molecules that are far away from this spherical ball, that will be at rest again. So if far away liquid molecules are at rest, and the liquid that is in contact with this spherical ball, that is in motion, so you can again see that here a relative motion that is developed between this liquid that is here and far away liquids. So due to this relative motion, as you already know that again a viscous force that will be developed in the system, that will try to bring again an equilibrium in the system, so that all over the liquid can be at rest there. So dragging force, or you can say that a viscous dragging force, that will try to oppose the motion of this spherical ball, so that it cannot go again in motion, and the liquid can also be at rest, because this is the cause due to which there is relative motion is generating. So in this way a viscous dragging force that will act on this ball. So first of all, the weight of the ball that is acting in downward direction, and due to that it is due to change in gravity, you know that with depth it is changing, then obviously the ball is now accelerating. So in downward direction, suppose m is the mass of this body, then the working part, that is force, is its weight. And in upward direction, obviously due to relative motion that is generated due to the motion of spherical ball in liquid, viscous dragging force that will act here. So suppose viscous dragging force, that is Fv here. And also you know that whenever any body that is immersed into the water or in any liquid, that displays some of the liquid that is equal to its weight, and due to that the configuration of liquid molecules that is changing. So to again, due to its elastic nature, it again try to bring its equilibrium, try to bring its configuration to its original position. Liquid will start to resist this kind of any displacement in its weight or mass, so that it applies a resisting force there, that you known as buoyancy there, or buoyant force. So due to displacement of the liquid due to this spherical ball, a buoyant force will also resist this kind of motion and displacement. So that's why in upward direction one more force will act here, that is buoyant force. While we were studying about the buoyancy, we have neglected the relative motion concept, because only we have taken that time the liquid at rest condition, that time we haven't taken the relative motion. But still here we are talking about all types, and Stokes studies about these types kinds of relative motion also. So I think now this is clear. So here basically three types of forces are acting on the body. First force is its weight that is acting in downward direction. Second force, that is viscous dragging force, that is trying to resist any this relative motion that is generated towards motion. And third is buoyant force due to displacement of the liquid. So finally you can see here the upward directional force, that is Fb plus Fc, and the downward directional force here, that is Mg here. So continue the speed of the spherical ball that is increasing. It means that ball is going to accelerate it more and more. So you know that greater will be the speed, greater will be the rate of change of velocity with distance, greater will be the viscous dragging force, as we have discussed already the properties of dragging force and the factor on which it is depending on. So whenever rate of change of, or you can say velocity gradient, that is increasing, then viscous force, resisting force, that will also increase. It means that continually due to acceleration, this Fv, this part is increasing, and also there is a sum of this part into this. So while moving in downward direction continuously, a condition is reached when this upward directional force becomes equal to this downward directional force. Means you can say now the system achieves the equilibrium condition. So whenever this equilibrium condition is achieved, that time the acceleration in the body that becomes zero. That time obviously whenever downward directional force that will be equal to upward directional force, then acceleration in the system that will become zero that time. And after that distance, after that point, whenever this condition is achieved, suppose that here the ball has raised and this condition is achieved there, then below this point this spherical ball will go with constant velocity, because acceleration is zero, so velocity will be constant there, and it is running continually with constant velocity. So that constant velocity is known as terminal velocity here. So this is very important concept also, what is terminal velocity. And whenever you throw something into the liquid or water, you have seen that after sometimes first of all any body that is immersing in the liquid, that start to accelerate, that goes into the water very rapidly, very with increase in speed, but after certain distance or after certain depth it achieves a constant velocity. The reason is that for the achievement of constant velocity is that when this upward directional force becomes equal to this downward directional force, then that time acceleration in the body becomes zero and finally velocity becomes constant. So that constant velocity is known as terminal velocity. So you can also calculate this terminal velocity easily by putting the value of Fb, you know already, and by putting the value of buoyant force you can calculate what is the terminal velocity there. So one more question is based on terminal velocity also. Yeah, if you can see the raindrop, you have seen that raindrops don't achieve a very high velocity while they are falling under gravity here. So again, as we have here seen the case of liquid, but still you know that in fluid we can talk about the gaseous systems also. So here air is present in our surrounding, and whenever raindrops are falling, then this is just like the same problem as this spherical ball is falling inside the liquid there. So when raindrops starts to fall, then you know that it's due to gravity, its waste is again working in downward direction, and also as the speed or continually that will increase, the viscous dragging force due to presence of air, due to presence of medium, that will increase also. Obviously whenever you have some of the medium particles, then that particle will try to oppose any kinds of relative motion there, and if raindrops are falling, then the air that is in contact with the raindrops, that molecule comes into the motion, and the molecules that are far away from it, that will be at rest. So there will be a relative motion will be established between them, and due to that relative motion, viscous dragging force that will try to bring an equilibrium in the system. So again in the same way, in case of raindrop case, viscous dragging force due to air that will act on that raindrop, and also as that is moving air, then continually you know that if ball is raindrop is accelerating continually, viscous dragging force will continually increase due to increase in velocity, and ultimately a condition that will achieved here in that way, the viscous dragging force that will become equal to its weight. So in after that, you know that the condition is just like this, just like same as it is. So there if viscous dragging force that will become equal to its weight, then acceleration in that raindrop that will become zero, and after that point the drop that falls on the ground with constant velocity, with constant, you know, that is called terminal velocity. So they are falling with terminal velocity always, so that they don't appear, they don't have you can see that they don't have very high velocity while falling on the ground there. So that's this is the reason behind the less velocity, low velocity of the raindrops that are falling on the ground. So I think basically students, the concept behind the relative motion, viscous force and viscosity, these three terms that we have discussed today, that is clear. So if these three concepts are clear, then we will discuss next conceptual problems, as this fluid mechanics chapter is very broad chapter. So we will discuss one by one all the things here. So rest of the things let's discuss in next class. So today let's end it here. The rest of the things we will discuss in next class. Thank you, students.